We have seen a mix of characters show up on The Mandalorian. In Season 1, there was a Mandalorian, an Ugnaught, an assassin droid, a rebel shock trooper, and whatever species the child Grogu belongs to. Yes, I know it's Yoda's species. And a human running a less-than-legal bounty hunter guild. That's not to mention some of the alien side characters. How did they all hold true to the original founding of Star Wars in 1977? Today, on Star Wars Fanatic. If you are new to the channel or just haven't made the commitment yet, please hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to see more videos as I release them. Hit the thumbs up to show your love for what I do here and share the video. Let's see if we can get this one to hit 2,000 views. Din Djarin is a member of the Bounty Hunters Guild, ran by Greef Karga. His job is simple: retrieve those contracted to the guild for a reward. One mission leads him to capture or kill the child Grogu. Along the way, he meets an Ugnaught that just wants to live in peace by the name of Kuiil, and an assassin droid designated IG-11. They team up and the child is retrieved, with the loss of IG-11. He tries to find a safe haven for him and Grogu to lay low. He meets an ex-rebel shock trooper by the name of Cara Dune. She helps him lay low until it's time to leave, as it's obvious they're being hunted. By the end of Season 1, Mando, Greef, Cara, Grogu, and the rebuilt IG-11 are trying to escape an Imperial remnant ran by Moff Gideon. Kuiil was killed along the way. An Imperial actually killed a semi-main character. That's shocking. Well, they escaped narrowly, but they have lost IG-11 again as he decided to self-destruct to get them out of the situation. In Season 2, Mando teams up again with Cara Dune, Greef Karga, and now Boba Fett and Bo-Katan Kryze and her Night Owls, and a sniper bounty hunter named Fennec Shand. Other people met along the way are an ex-Imperial sharpshooter, Luke Skywalker, and Ahsoka Tano. By the end, they have rescued Grogu and retrieved the Darksaber from Moff Gideon. If you have watched The Mandalorian, you know all this already. But how does it relate to other Star Wars, especially the ones written starting in 1977? Well, George Lucas set it up where there would be an unlikely team. A farm boy, a scoundrel, a space wizard, a Wookiee, a princess, a gambler, and two droids, all from different walks of life. But all of these unlikely friends made up the well-rounded crew that it would take to rescue a princess, destroy 2 Death Stars, rescue the scoundrel, and defeat a criminal underworld, all while defeating the Empire. The team was often at odds with each other, but they all brought certain skills needed to win the day. In both series, they made it work. In the Clone Wars and the prequels, the same thing was done. Sure, in the Clone Wars, the bulk of the team were clones, but they were mixed with Jedi, politicians, droids, and aliens. By not making the crews and teams out of members from the same walks of life, they kept it visually interesting. It worked for comic relief and the dynamic between the characters. All different backgrounds, attitudes, and personalities. Where one would lack in confidence, the other would prop them up. Where one would seem untrustworthy, they would come through in the end. Certain examples of this would be Han Solo and IG-11. Where one would seem too good for the team, the others would quickly rope them in, as was the case with Princess Leia and Bo-Katan Kryze. We hear Boba Fett sarcastically call Bo-Katan Princess due to her feeling she is of royalty, but it could also be a callback to Princess Leia. So long, Princess. Han was always using her royalty in sarcastic remarks, just as Boba Fett used Bo-Katan's royalty to antagonize her. Luke was the reluctant hero of the original trilogy, just as Din Djarin is the same in The Mandalorian. IG-11 was a by-the-book droid, as C-3PO was often telling the odds and protesting certain actions of the crew because he didn't see it feasible. IG-11 tried numerous attempts at self-destruction because he didn't see a way to escape, neither of which considered the human factor and were surprised when a human could come up with something that didn't seem possible. Han Solo, the scoundrel, matches almost perfectly with Greef Karga. You don't know that you can't trust him until the time comes that you have no choice but to trust him. The same can be said about Lando Calrissian. This is not to mention the plot points that worked for the original trilogy, worked for the sequel trilogy, and it worked for the prequel trilogy. A couple rescues are among the list of achievements of both crews. Imperial entanglements have also been noted with both teams. Not just long-range skirmishes, but up close and personal by entering the Imperial's own ships and territories. From the rescue attempt of Princess Leia aboard the Death Star, to the rescue of Grogu aboard Moff Gideon's Imperial cruiser, to the infiltration of Starkiller Base and Anakin's own infiltration of a droid ship. From the infiltration of the Imperial outpost on Endor to destroy the shield generator, to the infiltration of the Imperial cloning facility on Navarro. From destroying the first Death Star from the outside to destroying the explosive mining facility on Morak from a long-range shot. It took the skills of all active team members to make these items work. They all contributed their skills and gave all their effort to the success of the mission. And not to mention that even Migs Mayfeld took on a Lando Calrissian type of persona. Can we trust him? He was already betrayed the heroes once. Turns out we can, and we end up liking the character just as we did Lando Calrissian. And these similarities are not coincidence. They have taken a mixture of different characters and made us care about each one of them individually and as a team. We cheered for their success and cried for their individual losses. Sure, this could have happened to a team made up of members of the same background, but it would not have been as interesting. It kept us on our toes. It was disappointment when one would betray the other. But they would always redeem themselves in the end. This type of storytelling works very well for holding an audience. It also sets them up to be separated and still successful, and you don't even notice that they're separated. You don't mind extended periods of not seeing other team members off on their own missions because you know they will come together again and make everything climactic. The same motif has been carried over to the prequel trilogy and the sequel trilogy. You can say what you want about your favorite or least favorite star in Star Wars, but the team dynamic worked well in all of them. For another instance, look at Star Wars Rebels, the Ghost Crew. They were all different from all different walks of life, all different backgrounds. This is just my 2 cents, but I find it interesting that this has been brought to life in many ways in Star Wars, and it worked. It seemed different each time. So that's all I got. If you're new to the channel, or just haven't made the commitment yet, please hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to see more videos as I release them. Hit the thumbs up to show your love for what I do here and share the video. Let's see how high we can get this video. Thank you for watching, and remember, this is the way, the only way.